How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Before this video gets started, I just want to say thank you once again for all the support. Please make sure to click the subscribe button. I don't think you can actually click it here, but it's right down there. So it would do me a big favor, and I really appreciate it. So I asked a poll to see what you guys were interested in, whether you wanted to see my 2-week review for my Bobcat miner, and whether you want to see the optimal settings to earn the most money with your Helium setup, antenna, whatnot. So this is the video on the antennas. Now, I did a lot of research on this. I did more research on this than I would for like a school project, which is saying a lot about me. I guess, I'm actually passionate about this stuff, so that's probably why I enjoy doing it. So I want to get started. In the previous video, I mentioned that I have like a low reward scale, and I wanted to mention that this guy came in clutch. WAB 1970 AD. This will come back further in the video, but he said, the transmit scale is a multiplier that is applied to rewards of any hotspots that witness you. The scale also affects how many rewards you receive as challenges. Low transmit scale does not mean your hotspot is doomed. Make sure you have a great setup so you can witness hotspots with 1.0 transmit scales. If you have 3 miners or more near you, then you should make 1 or more helium a day, not 1 in 2 weeks. Put the antenna in the attic, keep it straight, vertical obviously, and use a good antenna wire. Okay, so that is like really good information, and he actually took it right off of the Helium website. They discuss the transmit scale on their website, and all of these links will be in the description as always, but they say, look, transmit scale is a multiplier. This scale also affects how many rewards you receive as challenges. So, challengee. So they actually said it like that. So just because I have a low transmit scale, which is a reward scale previously known as, it doesn't mean I'm making bad earnings. It just means it's actually a motivation. I believe they say it. They say it somewhere in here. To counteract the effects of lower transmit scale, it is recommended that hotspots improve their antenna setup. So they're actually telling you, you have a lower transmit scale, you can improve it by improving your antenna setup, improving your elevation, get a higher dBi antenna, get a better location even to deploy your setup. So a big question people are asking is, what antenna do I buy? Because, the stock rack miner comes with a 2.1 dpi, and the Bobcat miner comes with a 4 dbi, and that's so cool. Bobcat, that's what they were selling themselves on. They're good miners, and they also come with a higher rated dbi antenna. So people in their minds are like, oh, I'm going to have a higher antenna, it will reach further. Well, that's not the case in every scenario. So this is a great description of the different antennas and their signal coverage. So if you look at all 4 of these antennas, 2 dBi does kind of a 360 degree antenna coverage, and then as you go up, it starts decreasing to 5 dBi decreases to 40 degree coverage, and 7 dBi decreases to 30 degree coverage. So a really important thing is you got to make sure your antenna is straight up and down. By the way, do not put it sideways, because when it's sideways, if you're using like the 5 dBi or the 7 dBi, honestly, any of them, it's literally just going to shoot up and down, not across, and you want it to shoot across. Another important thing is you got to make sure that it's up in the air. I started my antenna out right here on my window, and I can see every house is being, or it's blocking the signal. So I need to get it higher than the houses. Now, the next video, hopefully the next video that I make will be me actually installing my antenna on the roof. So I'll do a walkthrough with that so you guys can see all of that. But that's something that you also have to consider when you're looking at this. These are 2 great websites. This guy talks about what's the best antenna, and then he's basically talking about what I'm going to talk about. But if you want to see like a full written report on it, you can look at this. And he talks about high gain, high elevation. You can spread out across everything. And it talks about the different types of antennas you need for the different areas that you live in. And then he gives an example. He has a whole bunch of antennas that he pulled this data for, and it tells you what elevation they're on, what antenna they have, and what cable they have. So it's really, really good information there. But if we go down here, it also mentions some antennas to get and whatnot. So I'm going to show you guys, like, this is a really good example. I have 4 hotspots that I'm going to show you guys of what they're doing versus what you guys need to do, and how much money they're making because of what they're doing. So you can see this guy has a 1.0 transmit scale. That's great, okay? So if anyone witnesses him, they make 100% of the rewards. It's actually multiplied. I'm not sure. I don't want to get the math wrong, but I think it's like a normal amount. Or maybe it's like 10 times the amount. I'm not sure what 1.0 means. I really doubt that it's 100% of the amount that you're actually receiving, but it's basically a bonus on top of the rewards you get. So if you have a transmit scale of 1.0 and you witness someone with a 1.0, then you get 100% of the rewards versus like a 0.46, you don't get all the rewards. So this guy has a 1.0 transmit scale, and if we look, there's no one near him. So he is a lone guy. But it's actually a good thing because he's getting a high transmit scale. I mean, it's a give and take. But you can see he has an 8 dBi antenna. And keep in mind, when you are looking at this Helium Explorer, that 8 dBi and 0 meters, this is all manually inputted by the consumer. So I'm not entirely sure if it's actually 0 meters, but if it is, that would explain why his earnings are so low, because he should be able to reach this one, okay? Realistically, he should. But you can see he's had 0 witnesses in the past 5 days. Now, this is something I'm learning, and now you guys are going to learn this, because the witnesses is the most important part of the Helium mining coverage, because if you have no witnesses, if you don't witness anybody and no one witnesses you, then no one can prove that you're actually providing coverage for the Helium network. And I think that's a really great explanation on the Helium network, because you need to be witnessed in order to basically like see you exist, if that makes sense. So if you're not witnessed, then the Helium network sees you as like, oh, I'm not sure if they're actually providing coverage. So that's really important. If you do not have witnesses, as this guy has, you're not going to be making a lot of money. We can go to 30 days, and keep in mind the Helium halving just happened, but he's only made $9 in Helium in the past 30 days. Looks like he started on July 23rd, which is a couple days before I started. I have 1.6 Helium right now, and I started a little bit after him. So that is if you have no witnesses, and he's got a relatively good antenna. He obviously doesn't have the stock antenna. Now we go to, let me just tell you guys where this is. This is located in New York, I believe. Yeah, or New Jersey. So this is located in Sparta, New Jersey. Okay, so if we go to, now we are in, I believe we're still in New Jersey. Yeah, we're still in New Jersey. Now we're in, I would say Sunset Hill Garden. That looks like a good area. So you can see they have a 0.5 transmit scale. Okay, this is very similar to what I have. It's actually almost a mirror image of what I have. You can see, although they're making a lot more in the past 24 hours, you can see they have an 8 dBi antenna, and they're rated at 6 meters, okay, above ground level. They have a 0.5 transmit scale, which means they're making half if they're witnessing this. But let's see what this guy has a 1.0 transmit scale. So this is a perfect example. If this loads quick enough, hopefully. The Helium Explorer right now is having some issues, but you can see, even though he has a 0.5 transmit scale, I just showed you guys the other one, he's witnessing a 1.0 transmit scale, which means he's getting 100% of the rewards. So that means that it doesn't matter that he has a 0.5 transmit scale. So you can see he's earned $10.87 in the past 24 hours. In the past 7 days, he's earned 1.5 Helium. And in the past 30 days, he's earned 2.4 Helium. And you can see it went up a lot. So my assumption, and this is like a 100% guess, is that he actually just bought the 8 dBi antenna and he just set it up, and he probably set it up outside. So he's getting a lot better results here. Another great thing about the Explorer is you can click the filter here and see the transmit scales, and you can see these two guys are making 0.5, and this one, let's see, this one's got 8 dBi, 15 meters, and it's not witnessing anybody, so it's not getting, it's not going to be getting the full rewards. This is basically two almost identical antennas. This one is literally making half, so this one is making $10.87 in the past 24 hours, and this one is making $5.51. And the only difference is one witness. That's it. So that's really important. Now this guy is a really great example. It's experienced 29 witnesses, and it's got 0.5 transmit scale. Okay, so it's got there's a cap on how many witnesses you get versus how many rewards you get. I believe it's after a certain number of witnesses, it kind of levels out, but your earnings are really well, and you can see even after the halving, which happens on the 1st of August, he's still getting about today or the other day. I guess that's today. He got 1.34 helium. He got 6 helium a day one day. He's getting 4 helium a day. So it kind of leveled out, and that could be because more miners are on. But if I bring up the transmit scales again, you can see he's got 0.5 transmit scale, but he's connecting with a whole bunch of people with a 1.0 transmit scale. So it doesn't matter. And he's made $906 in the past 30 days, which is just awesome. So that is an example. And it does say 1.2 dBi at 0 meters. I don't believe that's what's actually happening. If he's in the city, he probably has a higher dBi, and he's probably located higher. I can't quite see. Where are we? We are in, I think we are in New York. Not really good. No, that's still New Jersey. Okay, so they're at the very tip of New Jersey, up by the beaches. So that's something to note. It's a area with a lot of people that are coming. It's definitely a very populated area, so there's going to be a lot of miners here. The final example is this one. Now you can see this guy has a 0.09 transmit scale, yet he's still made 0.83 helium in the past 24 hours. If I go to the transmit scales, he connects to, okay, 2 people with a 1.0 transmit scale. Everyone else has a very similar or slightly better than his. And he seems like he's right in the middle where the lowest transmit scale is. But he's also, this is great because he actually updated it. So you can tell he's got a Bobcat miner because of the 4 dBi. That's my assumption. I don't know why anyone would buy a 4 dBi miner. And he's at 85 meters above ground. So he's in an apartment building in, it looks like Midtown, Hell's Kitchen area, New York. Okay, little further away from Times Square, but you can see he's connecting to 143 miners with a 0.09, and he's still making a great penny right there. So $513, that's great. So I just talked about a whole bunch of examples. I just wanted to show you guys them, and then there's also this where they talk about the transmit scale. Transmit scale is very important to understanding how much money you're actually going to be producing. And like these are all relatively in the same area, but they're different landscapes. Obviously, New York is going to be a city, and that was more of a rural, suburban New Jersey area. So they talk about this, and now I'm going to talk about the different types of antennas to get. So this is an antenna that I purchased. I purchased this 3 dBi antenna because I saw it, I believe, on Reddit. Someone said, I bought it, it works. I'm like, okay, I have a 4 dBi. I wanted to see what a 3 dBi would make any difference. I noticed that I actually earned less, and obviously it's because it was 1 dBi lower of what I had stock. I didn't know if it was going to make a difference, obviously, because it's bigger. You can see how big it is. It's longer than my face, and this is the stock Bobcat antenna. I'm like, okay, maybe bigger does mean better in this circumstance, and it didn't. So if you guys have a lower antenna, like if you buy a lower antenna than stock, I would just say try it for a week, because all of this stuff is just testing. You can look at the different hotspots in your area and see what they have, and hopefully they're like this guy where he told you he has a 4 dBi at 85 meters, or like this person with an 8 dBi at 15 meters. You can see what they're rewarded at the certain height, at the dBi, and then you might not have to do all the work. But where I'm located, and I'm sure some of you are in the same situation, there might not be a lot of miners near you. There might be like 1 or 2. The data might not be entered accurately, or it could be accurate, but they just have a bizarre situation. Like in my circumstance, there is someone that is at the top of the hill where I'm located, and they have coverage to a ridiculous amount of miners. But the data is wrong. It says they have a 1.2 dBi antenna, and I know that's not the case because of where I live. There's a lot of trees. There's a lot of obstacles. So this is the 3 dBi antenna. I'm going to have it linked for you guys. If you want to try it, try it. I mean, let's see what your rewards will be. Obviously, if you have the 1.2 dBi antenna from the rack miner, this might be a good option for you. Just please make sure you have it mounted vertical. I had it mounted to a wooden beam in my attic with zip ties. You don't have to make it look pretty. It's just got to work. Keep in mind also, if you mount it near a window, you got to make sure that the windows even if I had it mounted on this window, I saw a significant drop off in my actual rewards because some of the windows now have a UV film that blocks out these radio frequency signals. Also, if you do mount it by a window and you do decide to mount it inside, you got to make sure it's not near a metal screen, because the metal screen will diffuse your signal and you probably won't get any witnesses or whatnot like that. So here's another antenna. This is an 8 dBi. I don't have this one. It has positive reviews and it's in stock and it's only $45. If you compare that to the rack miner, which is $40, actually this is more expensive, but it comes with some mounting hardware and the cable's a little bit, it looks like it's a little bit longer. So if you guys want to try this one, I would say knock it out, go for it. Let me know how it works for you guys. The reviews seem positive, 40 ratings with 4-star rating. That seems really good. And this is obviously meant for mounting outdoors, so you're gonna have to mount it onto your roof or something like that and then mount it into your house. It doesn't say anything about grounding, so this seems like this would be more of a antenna that you mount below your roof but outside. So if you mount it like outside of a window, drill it into your siding, something like that. Finally, there are the rack antennas. These are, I would say, by far the best ones on the market. I have one right now. I just bought this 5.8 dBi. I plan on mounting it outside and grounding it and all of that stuff, and I will give you guys a full tutorial on how to ground an antenna and all that, and hopefully I do it right. We'll find out if my house explodes from a lightning strike, but that's just a joke. All jokes aside, when you do get this antenna, there are obviously 3 different connections that you guys are going to be looking at. I would, the stock antenna mount for your miner is RP-SMA on the outside. On the inside, it is an IPEX. So they don't recommend you actually opening up your devices and changing out the antenna. But if you do like a outdoor setup where you actually take it out of the physical housing and you put it in like one of the metal housings for outdoor, go for the IPEX. If you guys are doing that, you probably aren't watching my video, because those are some really smart people and they probably already have that under control. But this is the N-type. I made the mistake of just buying the N-type male, so it just sent me the miner. I didn't get the cord, but luckily, or it was this cord. But luckily this one came with the cord, so I'm still using that right now. This has an N-type female, or this has an N-type male, and it's really actually hard to find a N-type female cable. So luckily Reddit came in clutch. They gave me this website, USA Coax. I'm going to have this in the description as well. They actually have a 5% off discount if you use the code Helium on any of their products. So that is really cool. You can get however long cable that you want. I believe they actually do say on here, do they say it? There is a drop off on your cable depending on how long you actually get the cable, so that's something to consider. I'm going to purchase this because I can't find this cable anywhere and I need it to be longer than the stock. I think it's like 3 feet, so that's really important. And the last antenna would be the 8 dBi. You guys, it's very similar to the 5.8 dBi. Obviously, it's just a higher rating. And if we go to this, you can see that it will have a 25-degree effective signal coverage. So it's just going to go out, but it's going to go out far. So if you live in an area like this guy, he's got the 8 dBi. He has it at 0 meters. That could be inaccurate, but if he does have it at 0 meters, that's a very good reason why he's not reaching this, okay? Because it should be able to reach it with the 8 dBi. With that, it's a short, straight shot. There could be obstacles in the way as well. There's like stuff like that we won't actually be able to see. Unless I go on Google Maps. Where are we? This is New Jersey, right? Okay, so I mean, I might be able to zoom in. You can see there's forests and stuff. So if he really does have it at zero meters, he's not going to have a good time with that. So I really hope I answered your questions for anyone asking about antenna setups and optimal setups. Obviously, just a recap, get it high, get a strong DBI antenna depending on where you live. It seems to be that no matter where you live, a higher DBI antenna is working better than the stock ones. At least that's what I've seen. On a whole bunch of videos, everyone's putting a higher antenna. But all of those videos I've been watching, people are in like suburbs area like me. I haven't seen any videos of people putting them up in cities. But cities also suggest a higher DBI antenna. Like this guy has lower DBI antenna. This guy has a 4 dBi, 85 meters. He's making a decent amount of money. I wonder if there's anyone else we can find here that is making like an absurd amount of helium for no reason. I mean, this one's probably good. Nope. There we go. 55 helium. So you can, this guy, there's no way he has a 1.2 antenna. I believe they said in the city you want to go higher. Where was it? You can see here, yeah, San Diego 5.8, San Diego 6 dBi, San Diego, that one doesn't say. Boston, that's kind of suburb area. Greater Boston is probably a suburb. Chicago, not telling you. Denver 8 dBi. So it seems like honestly, it seems like higher DBI is the wave right now. I spent like $30 on this one. This one was $40. I spent $40 on the rack one, and obviously this one came stock with the Bobcat miner. So I have these extra antennas now, which is also great. So if you guys, and I'm sure most of you guys did buy multiple miners when you did buy, just because you heard about Helium, you're like, wow, that's really cool. Let me buy a couple of them because they're back ordered, and I'll get them all at once. Then I could sell them or set them up because there's none around me. I'll set up a couple, but it's also great just to try them all. Like I have the 5.8, I have the 3, I have the 4, and when I get my new miners in, like when I get my rack miners and my number miners, I'm probably going to end up using one of these in a different location and see if I actually get better results than the stock. Obviously a 1.2 dBi where I live is not going to cut it. So I'm going to need to use one of these higher ones just because there's a lot of trees where I am and I need to get it really high in the air. So that was a good recap. I really think I hit all the nails on the head here. You got to get high elevation. You have to get witnesses. If you don't get witnesses, there's also the app, the Helium app, where you can use discovery mode. And once you guys have actual hotspots, or if you are already using that, you know what I'm talking about. And you just you click discovery mode, and you can move the antenna in different parts of your house, and you can try and see if you actually get responses from different miners. And then you can figure out the ideal location. You can also just do that anywhere. And then you can do that without having to pay the fee to move your miner, which is just a really good idea that Helium implemented. They're always on top of their game. I think it'd be really cool to work for a company like this. What do you guys think? That is it for this video. I think the next video is going to be me setting up the miner outside, so I hope everyone is looking forward to that. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below. I will answer them to the best of my ability. I know this was kind of a longer video, but some of this stuff just really needs to be said and explained thoroughly. I might have rambled a little bit, but I hope I actually got to the point. So once again, if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.